Before you look at a single house, you have to check out this checklist. It'll save you time, it'll save you stress, it'll save you money, and more importantly, it'll save you heartbreak. I'm Kyle Powers, Haven Real Estate Group at eXp Realty. And after I've helped hundreds of first-time home buyers across the Manhattan, Wamego, just the Flint Hills area in general, I have created an actual roadmap to help cut down on stress on you and make sure that you are actually on track from day one of starting your home buying process. So let's go ahead and check out that roadmap. But before we do, I want to know, what stage in the process are you? Are you there saving for your down payment? Have you gotten your pre-approval? Maybe you're house hunting and don't know where to start. I'd love to hear from you guys. Put in the comments below and I'd love to see what you're at. First step on the map is getting pre-approved. You guys, I cannot tell you how many times I have talked to people that are like, oh, sure, we'll get there. Whenever I make an offer, we'll get pre-approved. That's not the way it works. I promise you that's not the way it works. So what you need to do before you scroll Zillow, before you scroll realtor.com or start calling agents to go looking at houses, go out, get that pre-approval. Start talking to people about what kind of rates do you get, what kind of house are you pre-approved for. I talk about this all the time where it's like having champagne taste on a beer budget. That's me. I mean, I hate not being able to afford the houses that we want, but you have to know where you're at whenever you're looking to make an offer on a house, because there's no reason to go look at these $700,000 houses if you're only approved for $400,000 to buy a house. Okay, so having that idea, getting that pre-approval is probably your first step to go through that one. The next one I'll tell you is actually talking with a real estate agent, and you can kind of do these one or two, first or second, doesn't really matter. They're interchangeable, but I would do them about the same time. My idea is always talk to a real estate agent, because that real estate agent that you're working with, hopefully it's me. If it's not, that real estate agent you are working with has a lot of contacts that they can work with, right? Getting connected with lenders, getting connected with the people that you need in order to get that pre-approval. So talk to a lender, talk to a real estate agent. Both of them kind of go hand in hand. Those are fantastic ones. The other reason why you want to get pre-approved is because you want to walk into, let's say you find that house of your dreams and like, this is the one, right? If you are not pre-approved, sometimes it may be taking you too long to get pre-approved. I had clients here recently, thankfully we ended up getting them the house, but they found the house that they wanted and it took them over a month to get pre-approved. Okay, so I'm not saying that everybody takes that long, most of them are quick, but if you don't have your ducks in a row and you don't have the things that you need, that lender is going to request those things before you actually can get that pre-approval that says you're good to go to buy a house. Really smart to check that out before we start house hunting and start getting into stuff, because you don't want to fall in love with something and then it gets taken out from under you. Been there, done that, have seen that movie many, many times with my clients. So make sure you get pre-approved and talk to that real estate agent of your choice. My recommendation for real estate agents, talk to a couple of them, because you never know who you're going to work with. I have also found people that are working with, bought a house with somebody, found out they absolutely hated them, and then they ended up calling me and said, I should have called you from the beginning. That one comes quite often as well. So talk to the agent that you want, make your decision with that one. And at the same time, talk to a lender to get pre-approved. Make sure you're getting the right one there as well. Sorry, that was a long one. Let's go to the next one. The next phase of the process is understanding your down payment, right? Understanding how much money you need and understanding what that looks like for you, because there are different options out there and you don't have to be military to do a 0% down loan. You have to give up some other concessions, like not living inside of Manhattan, but we can go find you one in Wamego, Junction City, Riley County. I mean, there's tons of stuff around here, right? Or just on the outer limits of Manhattan, there are 0% down USDA options that we can go through. Then you also have the 3% down, 3.5% down, or 3% down conventional, 3.5% down FHA, and then you also have the 10, 15, 20% down just normal conventional loans as well. So those are ones to understand, right? And then understanding that your down payment is not the only money that's coming out of your pocket when you close. Your closing costs are completely a much bigger number than most people think about, and they don't always think. They think, all right, I've got 20%, but I'm not worried about the other, $5,000-$10,000, whatever that number may be when you get to that closing costs. That is just setting up the loan, getting the escrow set up, all of those things that come into that. So talk to your real estate professional, talk to whoever you're going to talk to with that one. If you are, again, hopefully it's me, but if not, talk to that one. Make sure you're asking those correct questions to make sure you have the right moves for yourself. My next step in the process is making a smart, competitive offer. The winning bid is not always the one that is the highest price or the highest value, all of that kind of stuff. Making a competitive offer, maybe the seller wants to move out in 6 months. I actually have one under contract right now where we're literally closing on this one 3 months after the fact of us putting it under contract. We're through inspections, we're through appraisals, we're through all of that stuff, but the seller wanted to stay in the house for a certain amount of time. So we agreed to do that. We're not paying top dollar for it. We have a lot of opportunity within that you have giving them the terms that they want, right? Having a clean offer, meaning no closing costs, having the right timing for the sellers, having just in general, giving them a better opportunity to get the things they want. Because the crazy part about it is that not every seller is only looking at their top dollar. A lot of them are. I don't want to be distant on that. A lot of them are looking for that top dollar. But that doesn't mean they all are. So making a smart competitive offer is one of the things that I would highly recommend you look at. And that's just by having a conversation, right? Have your agent reach out and have a conversation with the other agent. I literally did that today where I called up my buyer. Buyer says, hey, this is what I'm looking at. Da, da, da. I said, cool. We made a couple low ball offers. Finally, I called up the agent. It's like, okay, talk to me. What do we got to do here? And so we talked about numbers. We figured out what would work, what terms may work, and things that way. It may or may not come together, but as of right now, I think having that open line of communication between agents, between clients to agent, and everything in between is really, really important to understand what a true competitive offer really is. So understanding that is very important. Once the offer is accepted, that's when the real work begins. This is our next step in the process, and what that is your inspections, your appraisal, and the getting everything done between those two things. Because during your inspection period, you have the opportunity to request certain things to be done. I think this next week, we've got 2 roofs going on for clients. We've got gutters being replaced. We've got siding being fixed. We've got leaks being fixed. All kinds of things that happen, but all of that has to happen before we actually close. Typically, that's about a 30 to 45 day window. 10 to 15 of that is inspections. Then after that, you've got time to get all the things done. Now, it doesn't always happen that way. Like I think the one we've done most recently, I had 10 days to get all the work done, right? Not me personally, but to get it scheduled and taken care of, right? So that is crazy important to understand what that looks like, and understanding that process, there is some time that's needed. We've got one right now where we had to push the closing back by about, I think it was 2 weeks. But that one was mainly because it was Thanksgiving. But that stuff happens, right? I think being able to understand that there is time that comes with that. So those are big things that happen. So again, going through finding inspections, finding issues, getting that negotiated out. The appraisal, making sure that your value is good. And then actually at the closing table, when you're signing your final docs and getting ready to move in, these are all things that are happening throughout that time period, that 30 to 45 day window. So being ready for that is crazy important. A smooth move-in starts way before your actual closing date. This is the next step in the process of buying a house, right? Being prepared, being ready to move in, having your final prep done, getting ready to do those things is very important. So make sure that you have your utilities transferred over on the day of closing, making sure that you've scheduled your movers, making sure that you change your address for your mailing address, setting up your gas, your electric, you're getting all of that stuff, getting all that done, and then making sure that you document any meter readings and things that might need to happen. Rural areas, this really is important. But having all that stuff done beforehand, trust me, I've bought a couple of houses, and I've unfortunately had clients that have moved into houses and say, we forgot to turn on utilities. And at Friday at 4 o'clock, well, let me tell you, nobody's turning on electricity or turning on your water for you to be utilizing it over the weekend. You need to remember to do those things. What I do with my clients, I definitely send out a week in advance. I send a reminder out to them. to make sure we get you taken care of and that you don't miss that. But that is stuff to be ready for, right? Having that prep and having that stuff ready to go is crazy, crazy important, because I've been there when it really is not fun when you don't have water and you got a ton of people moving your house in and nobody can go to the bathroom. Not a fun day. Promise you that. Before we wrap it up, I want to make sure that you download my first time home buyer checklist. I want to make sure that you understand it maps out everything from the entire process, from contract to close, and making sure that you go from pre-approval to actually closing, turning the key, moving you and your family into your house. So if you haven't downloaded that, please go ahead and put it in the comments below. Put it in checklist, and I would love to reach out to you and send that over to you via email or private message or something along those lines. Buying your first home doesn't have to be complicated. If you're following a plan and following a roadmap of what to do, this really can be a fun and exciting process. It's new, it's exciting, and honestly, you're getting ready to buy a house. Like, that's fantastic news, right? I love the idea of being able to help people throughout that process. So it doesn't have to be daunting. It doesn't have to be scary that you don't know what to do. That's why you hire professionals to help you throughout that process, right? So as always, you guys, if you have any questions, I promise you, reach out to me. I want to hear from you. It's not a bother. It's not anything else. I want you to reach out. My personal cell phone number is 785-477-5485. My email is kyle@homesforsalemhk.com. I want you to reach out. I want you to ask questions. I want you to just say, hey, Kyle, this is what I'm thinking about. Do you have any thoughts on this? I would love to help you throughout that process and get you taken care of in that deal. And as always, if you do enjoy this content, please go and hit that subscribe button. It does help me grow the channel a little bit. And if you know somebody, if you're watching this and you know somebody that's thinking about buying their first house, or maybe they just started the process or anything there, share the video with them. Get them in contact with me if they have any questions, and I can definitely get you guys taken care of. I promise you that just finding somebody randomly on the internet isn't always the best move either. So reach out to somebody that you know, reach out to somebody that can be referred, or better yet, hopefully I'm all three of those, but reach out to me as well, and I would love to talk with you a little bit. No pressure, no hassle, just real information, real conversation. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. We'll talk to you next time.